today on Post Pro, we're going to learn to sing properly. That's right, stand up in church and sing on your very next outing. Be right back. No, we're going to cover fixing problems with your images that are not synchronized because the time was off in the camera when you shot it and you had 2 or more cameras and they don't match up, and how to look at some information that might be helpful in your thumbnail. So be right back with Post Pro. Hey, has this ever happened to you? You're out on a shoot and you got 2 or more cameras going on a wedding here, and you get through the whole day and then you realize, uh-oh, we forgot to time sync our cameras. We're like 2 days apart, well, or something like that, and you get back to organize your images in Lightroom or in Bridge or whatever, and you want them chronological and they just don't match up, and you've got to go in there and figure out how to change the times on all those images or manually drag them in the right order, right? Which is a big waste of time. So there's a really quick way to fix that in Lightroom, which I'm going to share with you in just one sec. But first I want to show you something that might be more useful or as useful, which is being able to see on your screen, on the thumbnails, the correct amount of information that's useful to you. For example, when you want to sync the times. So you have thumbnails here on your screen, right? And if you blow up an image, sometimes you will see information at the top. If you don't, Command or Control I will show you information. Now you might pull up your screen and go, that's not the same information that's on my screen. That's okay. I'm going to tell you how to get that. If you go, when we're in the library mode and you're looking at thumbnails, and if you go to View Options, a little window comes up here, and you've got 2 panels, one for the grid view and one for the loop view. The loop view is the full screen view. The grid view is the thumbnail view. Now, in the grid view, I like to put information above and below my image. Of course, it helps me when I'm going through and editing so I can glance quickly and know what's happening with that image. First thing you want to do is change this to expanded cells, which grows the cell and puts more room for information. Then you can turn on these options here, which I do suggest at the top, options, cell icons. I prefer not to have the quick collection marker on the thumbnails. Now that's totally up to you, but it basically puts a little icon which you can click when you want to add it to quick collections. I think too many icons on the thumbnails gives you too many places to accidentally click and add something, and I've done that a lot. And there's shortcut keys for that, so you really don't need the icon. Down below, you'll see 2 other boxes. One that says Compact Cell Extras. That's what is used if you are actually using compact cells. But we're using expanded cells, right? So I'm going to look at the expanded cells box down below, and here is where I can decide what information is displayed with the thumbnail. So if I'm trying to time sync these images, I would probably want to see the capture date and time. Now it shows that exact time down to the second above the image, and it may be helpful to see the extra camera model so I can distinguish between the 2 or 3 different cameras that I use. Now if you have cameras of the same make in this job, same model, you can use camera serial number to actually display the serial number. With more of the latest cameras that will work. Some of the old cameras, there is no serial number embedded and it won't work. You'll have to manually separate the 2 cameras by just putting them in different folders when you initially download the images. Not that big a deal. So I'm going to use camera model because this is all different cameras here. And the capture date and time. Here's another one of those options that you can turn on, the rotation icon button. I just turned that off because I seem to always click on that by accident and start rotating my images. So I just turned those extras off. So this is a set of options that I think could be helpful. You can try that, but don't forget to peek at the other things in here because there's some really helpful bits of information, especially the common photo settings. That'll show you all the exposure information, the ISO, even the lens, and all that immediately right above the image, and that's great for identifying how you shot it, what settings were used, and that sort of thing. But for this, to find out, to fix the time, I want camera model and the actual time. Alright, so now you know how to see what you need to see. How do you fix what you need to fix? Well, let's go to the Metadata button at the top here. Again, we're in library mode. and that pops open a window with several panels of information. This all comes from the metadata that's embedded in the image, and you can display or sort the images and grab them based on metadata. So what would I want to know? Well, first of all, I want to know the cameras. So again, you can pick from all these metadata fields and camera or camera serial number if that's available. But I really just need camera. So now I can see the 3 different cameras that were used on this job. And then I'm going to look down into my job and scroll and try to find out where this time mismatch happened. And generally with a wedding, I'm looking for things that me and my assistant would have shot at the same time. Like the kiss, that's a pretty common one. Everybody seems to shoot the kiss at the moment they kiss because that's a key moment, right? So that's a good point to reference. So as I'm scrolling through my images now, I'm going to look for the kiss. So here's one kiss. Here's where the kiss started on this camera, the D200. Okay? And I know that the times were off, so I'm going to scroll through my images, and as I'm scrolling through, look, here's another kiss from the D2X down later. So this one should actually be with this one, right? With this first kiss. So what am I going to do? All I need to know is how far off, what the times are between these two, and which ones I want to shift. So looking right up here, I can see that I have 8 images in this little collection from the D2XS and 51 from the D200. Maybe I'll just shift all of them from the D2X to match the D200. You can shift the D200 to match the other ones. It doesn't really matter, but since there's less images, it might be easier to shift those. Not that big a deal. So here's what you need to do. You find the image that has the time you want. So this kiss, this one's going to stay the same, right? The time on this is 4:26:52. If you need to, write that down, 4:26:52. That's what time this kiss should actually be, right? So, and this is a D2XS image, so I'm going to keep this one selected, click on the D2X panel at the top, because that will now show me only the D2X images. These are all the ones that are off. Right? They should be 4:26:52. Remember on this one? And it's at 4:31:53. Select all the images. This one's still the key, the active image. And then go to Metadata, Edit Capture Time. And this key image, the kiss, should be 4:26:52. Is that what we wrote down a minute ago? I think we did. I should keep better notes on this, but that's exactly what it should be, 4:26:52. So basically we're telling Lightroom make this image from 4:31, shift it back to 4:26:52, along with shifting all the other images the same amount of time. So it's not going to make all these images 4:26, it's going to shift them all by that amount of time. Boop. Super easy. And then we hit Change All. So now this one has been shifted. All those have been shifted accordingly. If I go back to viewing all cameras here at the top, so all my images are together. Now hopefully, if I scroll through now and look for that kiss spot, there it is. See, the kiss from one camera and the kiss from the other camera are now chronologically lined up. Every other image should be chronological, and this is now a complete chronological set of images that I could go in and batch rename them and know that they're all going to be in order when I give them the new renaming scheme. So there's a quick fix-it tip for you or two, and tune in next week when we're going to talk about creating that perfect watermark for your images, how to create it in Photoshop, how to make it look right in Lightroom, and then how to batch process your images to give you the formats and the items you need to post on blogs and of course for proofing. So we're going to cover some really cool stuff next week. Hope to see you again on Post Pro. Ciao.